Cricket Diary with RJ Yuvi. Only on Radio City.
He has about 100 T20 matches to his name. 237 is his highest ODI score. Martin Guptill. Martin, welcome to Yuvi's Cricket Diary.
Thank you.
You're in India for how many times have you been in India before?
Oh man, I'd have to sit down for a few minutes and actually count them out because yeah, that'd be at least 10 times.
Yep.
Yeah.
So every time a cricketer from New Zealand or Australia or South Africa, England comes here, there's this unconditional love that cricket gets, and that is why a lot of cricketers love to play here. What's your best feeling or a memory that you can share about India?
Best memory, I think, is probably beating India in the first game of the 2016 T20 World Cup. No one expected us to even get close, and it wasn't a very good wicket in Nagpur, and you know, we managed to put up, I think it was just under 120, and we defended it quite easily. So, you know, that was a very good game from us.
So this time around, the cities that we have been in at the Legends League, cities like Visakhapatnam or Jammu or Surat or Dehradun, have you enjoyed any one of them? Anything different that you've seen or explored this time around?
Oh, to be fair, I don't get out and explore too often when I am in India, but it has been a little bit different. Obviously, the cities are smaller. You know, not as many people rushing about and things. But no, it's always nice coming here and just, you know, feeling the love for cricket and having the crowds. You make a lot of noise when we're out in the middle. Every
time your name pops up, I have to talk about the 237 versus the West Indies in a World Cup game. What is different when you approach a World Cup game versus a bilateral or a triangular series?
Well, I guess in that case for that game, it was a knockout game. So. Obviously, if we didn't play well, we were, you know, heading home, and you know, fortunately we put up a fairly large total and you know, won quite convincingly.
So, as a batsman, is there a feeling that you go before even entering? Is there a feeling that you know today is going to be my day? What is different about a high-scoring innings, particularly?
There's never a feeling. There's so many variables in cricket that, you know, you can feel on top of your game and still get out first ball. It's one of those really, how I put it, it's it's a game that you can never master. There's so many variables that are in the game of cricket. You know, from swing, the pitch, all different things. You know, I got dropped third ball of the game. You know, it could have been different. You know, we may have got bowled out cheaply, but you know, fortunately that day everything sort of, you know, the stars aligned, and you know, we were able to put up 390 odd.
Martin, you've played across the world, possibly in all the countries. If I ask you to pick your favorite city or a favorite stadium that you pick, what is it?
I've got a couple of favourites. I think at home, my favourite's Eden Park. It's my home ground. It's short boundaries, good wicket, you know, that sort of thing. If I look across the world, I'd probably say Sydney Cricket Ground. It's definitely up there for me. Wanderers in South Africa as well, and Lords. In terms of atmosphere, I think an IPL game at the Wankhede Stadium, you know, it's pretty hard to beat. Yeah,
I have to ask you this: the 2015 World Cup final, when a team like New Zealand, very passionate cricketers, they come together as a group. When you've done all the hard work, that one little push, how do you absorb that after the game when you've had a loss at such a pinnacle, if I could say that?
Well, I guess that game there, people probably forget that we were in quite a good position at about 35 over mark. We were 3 down over 150 on the board, and then there was probably a 4 or 5 over period where we just lost our way, and that was it. And that's the small margins of cricket, and you know, if you don't get those periods right, and it was a pretty crucial moment in the game where the shadow was coming across the pitch. You know, if we could have got through that unscathed, then you know, it could have been a different game.
I have to ask you this: is Martin Guptill an emotional cricketer?
I have been in the past.
And how do you overcome that emotion playing?
I guess it depends on what's happening. You know, there are times, you know, where you can lose your cool, but there are other times, you know, when things are going well, you know, you're calm and you're collected and you make the right decisions with things. So it just depends on what's happening.
Do you take your performance to the bed in the night? When it's a 237 kind of a day, do you celebrate? If it's a bad day, what is the mood like? Do you take it to bed?
Well, the 237, that innings, you know, you couldn't really dwell on it too quickly because we had a game 3 days later. So it was literally go to bed, put your bags outside, get on the plane the next day, go home for a night, have training the next day and then play. So, you know, there wasn't much time to dwell on it.
All right. If I have to ask you, the T20 World Cup is around the corner. We're about months away from, and this time around it's a 20-team tournament. If I ask you the 4 teams that you can pick, what do you think are the 4 favourable teams to make it to the semi-finals?
Oh, I don't know. Probably, I'd say Australia, India. Sort of want to say the West Indies, but you can just never really know if they're gonna turn up and play the way that they can play. I think New Zealand got a pretty good chance. And the 4th one, I'm just not sure.
All right. Just before I let you go, there's a little memory that I want you to share. The first time you entered the New Zealand dressing room. The firsts are always, you have them in your head always. You remember the first friend in the dressing room, the first mate that you were friends with?
It's probably Jesse Ryder. I had played a little bit with him before I made my Black Caps debut for the New Zealand Emerging Players team. So we played a tournament in Australia in the middle of 2008, and then in January 2009 I played my first game. So he was probably the first mate I had in the team, and while I played with a couple of other guys for Auckland before, Jesse was probably my first proper mate in the team.
Were you pranked? Because that's a real, when you enter the dressing room.
Nah, that sort of thing probably was on the way out when I came in. There were a few others like throughout the years and things like that, but nothing really toward me.
This is just for the camera, my last question. India remembers you for that run out. I'm sorry I have to ask you this. Do you still get DMs on your Instagram or mails about that?
Every day.
And how do you react or respond to that? You don't?
Block and delete.
Thank you so much, and for a fabulous career, and probably we'll see you for years and years to come at the Legends League.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cricket Diary with RJ Yuvi. Only on Radio City.